Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, this is a subject which I have mentioned on many occasions, but it's one I feel strongly about because it's something of which I'm an expert, and that, of course, is housing. And a whole coalition, if you will, of charities in Scotland have combined, and they're using their combined might to highlight what basically is a massive, massive social problem in Scotland with housing. And it's not just at the lower end, it's not just social housing problem, it's private rental problems, it's new build problems, it's everywhere. Because even sort of the more wealthy people in Scotland are tending to not move because nobody's building. They're not, they may be a growing family, but they've got nowhere to move to because there's no new houses coming onto the market. And then their house, which would be suitable for the next one underneath to move up into, and so on. All this social movement that involved in housing is now a problem affecting the upper end of the market. And as well, of course, as we know, massively a problem at the lower end with mass homelessness, with at least 10,000 children, either homeless or in temporary, unsuitable accommodation and so forth. It's a problem that's existed for some time. The Scottish government have admitted it. They know it's a problem. They've just declined to do anything about it. It's a problem that I must say, as I say, as an expert, is easily solved. It's easily solved if you have the will. Unfortunately, the SNP do not have the will to sort this out because I think sorting it out would make life better. It would make people happier. It would reduce misery. It would reduce poverty, and it would give people some semblance of order and hope for the future. And of course, the SNP want none of these things. They want misery and poverty so they can point to Westminster and say, hey, look, Westminster have created all this misery and poverty. But it won't wash anymore. You need to invest. You need to build. So why aren't they? Why aren't builders coming and rushing to Scotland to invest their capital in building in Scotland? Well, it's simple, isn't it? Why would you bother? Why would you invest in Scotland and pay more in tax when you could invest the same money in England and get a bigger return? It's all about return of investment after all. And these big investors are things like, for example, pension companies who lend the money to contractors who build these sites. There's also the problem, of course, that now all the houses, new builds in Scotland, must have the deeply, deeply hated and unwanted heat pumps. And when people come along and say, oh, that's a very nice house, nice new house, no shiny, lovely, oh, like the kitchen, like the view, oh, that's lovely. What kind of heating is it? Oh, heat pump. Yeah, don't think so. There's one down the road that's got gas central heating. Let's go and have a look at that one. And so these investors who've built these houses and the construction companies themselves who invested their capital into building these houses can't sell them. If they can't sell them, all their money is tied up, and so they can't go off and buy the next one and build. This has been pushed. This has been well known, well documented, and yet nothing is done. If you want houses in Scotland, you've got to build them. But more importantly, you've got to build houses that people actually want to live in. Get rid of this stupid, unworkable heat pump rule. Allow people to put gas central heating into houses. Build a lot more houses. Give tax breaks to contractors to come in and build. You can do this. You could get central government to say, give a 5%. Let's just say a 5% refund on tax or something, that or even a 5% return on investment for land usage. All sorts of things. There's all sorts of ways of encouraging people in. Doesn't have to cost a lot. You can just do it through a little bit of tax rebating. But you'll end up with, they say, building 100,000 homes. Nowhere near enough. But you could build 100,000 homes in Scotland and ensure that every homeless or child that is homeless or is in temporary accommodation has a social home to live in. And, of course, you must get rid of any kind of rent cap, of any kind of rent control. You've got to ensure that there is nothing there that will dissuade private landlords from selling up. All sorts of things that can be done very easily. And of course, you're saying, oh, yes, but look, we want to make it stronger and better for the tenants. You want to make it better for the tenants? Build more houses. The more houses there are, the better for the tenants. When there's few houses, that's when the tenants are in trouble because the laws of supply and demand. It's not hard. Well, it seems to be hard for the SNP, but I think it's because it's politically hard. They understand full well. They're just obviously choosing, making that choice. They're saying, no, we don't want to do this. We want to keep this situation as it is. If I was running Scotland tomorrow, I would ensure that we encouraged house building. I would pick an area and say, we'll build a new town, but we'll build it sensibly, not have any kind of thing that goes in that's organic in growth. You build for the future. You start the town with major structures in place, good road network, good rail network. You know, you have that. You build in a retail area, you build in an industrial area, you infill with houses of different levels but high quality, and you certainly won't be a heat pump in sight. That will encourage people in. That will free up other properties. Other properties get built in. And you can just easily tie up all this. Thousands upon thousands of new homes. Nobody has to be homeless. It's not hard. In fact, it's so simple, any idiot can do it, provided they're not ideologically opposed. And therein, of course, lies the problem. And so this consortium of charities, of house providers, of the contractors, the construction industry, they're all saying, pull your finger out of your backside and get your arse in gear and change the rules. Make it easier for people in Scotland to build houses and make it easier for people in Scotland to find houses and to not have homeless people, and especially homeless children. That is a national shame. And Swinney and the rest of his criminal cohort in the circus of doom at Holyrood need to hang their heads in shame that there's 10,000 children homeless and in unsuitable temporary accommodation. How dare they? Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me rant on about it. I say it is a subject close to my heart because I do know a lot about the industry. 35 years an accountant in house building, so I know all about the planning, I know about the construction, I know about costs, I know about the difficulties. Been there, done it. Anyway, thank you. Take care. Speak soon. Let me know what you think, and we'll speak again later. Bye.